All right, all right, all right. Hey, we are live, and guess what? We are going to make it through 2020. Those of you that are with me, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're still with us in 2020. We got about hey, we're coming down to the wire on 2020, a year to put behind us, right? So welcome to the show, and let me just make sure that it is coming through on Facebook. So let me pull it up, make sure, and I see myself, and so great. I think it's worth it, working. All right. So what I want to do on the very last show of the very last day of this year. Like this is it. This is 2020. We survived 2020. There should be a T-shirt being sold that says "We survived 2020." So if you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. I don't see any comments yet, but just let me know that you can hear me. I see that there's 7 people showing on the. But if you can hear me, just give me a yes. I can hear you. Let me know where you're listening from, what state, what country. Thank you for the thumbs up. I see a thumbs up. John Miller says yes, thumbs up. And I know there's a little bit of delay here because I'm transmitting to 3 or 4 different channels right now. So Greg Yoder, thank you. Sound is good. Awesome. So what I want to do on the very last show, on the very last day of 2020, is I want to give you some quotes. And those of you that know me, thank you, Kenneth Esch. Thank you. I appreciate it. Those of you that know me know that I love quotes. I like creating them. I collect them. And so I this morning, I just went through and just kind of collected probably a quarter of all the quotes that I've written. It's probably over 200 original quotes. But I want this show to be something that you close out 2020 with and you start 2021 with. And I want you to have, and I did a little show, I think on Monday, I can't remember what day this week earlier. I did a little show and I asked the question, what would you have done differently in 2020 if you knew everything that was going to happen? And so that was kind of a fun show. Got a lot of feedback on that. But yeah, so let's jump right on into it. I'm gonna switch things over here, and I think you should be able to see the screen. This was from the last show that I did this Monday. Somebody copied it and made it into a quote, but I kind of like it. It says, "I think about what you would have done differently in 2020 if you had known everything you know now. That is what will work in 2021." Okay, and I wish that I really wish that 2021 would be like these little. Well, we just gave some to my little nephews, my wife's nephews, a Christmas gift. It was like a pad where you can draw on it, and you just push a button, and what you drew goes away, and you start over with a brand new slate. You can scribble on it. You push that button, it just starts over. I wish tonight at 12 o'clock. The button would be pushed and COVID would go away and crazy politics would go away. And I really wish that would happen. That's not realistic. And so here's what I want you to understand, that you need quotes, you need inspiration to help you get through this. And so that's what this show is all about. So what would you have done differently in 2020 if you knew everything you know now? And then take that into 2021. So that's kind of the premise that I'm starting to show off on, is this premise right here. So I don't know, probably 20 or 30 of my quotes here. I can't remember how many I loaded, but here's the next one. This is one of my last ones. Gratefulness is the vaccine. Now that's kind of fitting for this time, but vaccine inoculates you. It kind of builds a barrier to sickness and negative thoughts, depression, anxiety. All of that is harmful to you. And I believe gratefulness is the vaccine for negative thoughts. Here's a screen that I want to share with you. Fear leads to anxiety, and anxiety leads to paralysis, and being paralyzed and having paralysis leads you to becoming prey. Um, and this is what I call the FAP principle that I created at the beginning of COVID. Faith, on the other hand, leads to anticipation. Okay, anticipation leads to purpose, and purpose leads to power. And so, if you want to be inoculated from negative thoughts and depression and anxiety, you first have to be grateful, and that's also found in the scripture. And I'm not going to turn to that, but being grateful, I believe, is the vaccine for negative thoughts. It's impossible for you to be negative and grateful at the same time. It is impossible for you to be depressed and grateful at the same time. And so gratefulness is the vaccine for negative thoughts. Now, when I was in school, I was never really athletic. I could do certain things fairly well, but we would play this game where you would you jump around, you jump over a bar, and every time you go around it, you raise it up a notch. And I remember how I felt, because I felt like they were trying to see how what my limitation was. But so I came up with this quote after understanding that, no, you know what? They weren't trying to expose my limitations. They were trying to exhibit my potential and to pull the good stuff out of me. So here's the quote. Raising the bar is not to expose your limitations, but to exhibit your potential. All right. So that's what I want you to think about. 2020 exposed a lot of people's what shall I say, their limitations, and they allowed it to define them. But it's also an opportunity. 2020 was also an opportunity for you to pivot and to change and to exhibit your potential and be resolute, to be resilient, and to raise that bar even further and become a leader at a different level. And so that's what I want you to understand about this quote. Raising the bar is not to expose your limitation. That's not why leaders raise the bar. It's to build you up. It's to exhibit your potential. And I want you to understand that. The next quote is, ordinary people do what they want to do instead of what they need to do. Extraordinary people do what they need to do so they can do what they want to do. All right. So, do you want to be ordinary, or do you want to be extraordinary? I have another quote that's similar to this that kind of asks that same question, but ordinary people do what they want to do instead of what they need to do. Extraordinary people do what they need to do so that once that is done, they can become and do what they want to become and do. So we live in a society where we want success now. We want everything right now. But we have to understand that you have to put the hard work in. You have to do what's right before you can have what's right. I'm going to go fast through these because we have a bunch of them to get through. This quote here was inspired by, I was coaching a client and he wanted something without putting the work in. And so I saw this picture and I said, the only reason an airplane is landing there is because there's a runway there. The only reason an airplane lands at an airport is because somebody built the airport. So don't expect to have the result unless you build the airport. Don't expect the planes to come if you don't build an airport. Don't expect the result if you don't put the work in. Don't expect to have success unless you are willing to have failure in your business. So don't expect planes to come if you don't build an airport. So what kind of airport are you building? What kind of planes do you want? I've been keenly made aware this year more than ever before that humans are messy. Humans are broken. They have needs. I have needs. So this quote here comes from a situation that I won't tell you about the situation, but where there is a human, there is a need. And here's the thing. We're upset that the government is being so invasive into our private lives and wanting to be the savior of everything. We're upset about that. But you know why the government is doing this? I think it's because we as people don't step up and fulfill and fill the human need. Listen, if the people do nothing, government has to do something. So get off your cans and start filling the needs of the people around you. Start looking at humans and finding their need, and you be the person that fills that need. Whether it's a spiritual need, whether it's a physical need, whether it's a emotional need, whether it's financial, but humans are needy people. You are a needy person. You need things, and we're broken as humans. And will you love the human and fill their need, or are you going to be the type of person that says, that's somebody else's job, that's a counselor's job, that's what somebody else needs to do? If you're that person, then don't blame the government for stepping in and supporting people. Don't blame them. Blame you. Blame the church. Blame the people for not taking care of people. It's not government's job to take care of people. It's people taking care of people. You've always heard of the term, he climbed the ladder to success. Well, I'm here to tell you there is no ladder, or he climbed the ladder of success. There is no ladder of success, only a ladder to success. All right? So the ladder is not success. The ladder is the hard work that you put in to get to success. So it's not about the ladder. That's the tool that you use to get there. And so it's not a ladder of success, it's only a ladder to success. And I want you to think about that when you fail, it's probably because you missed some steps, you missed some rungs, you were climbing too fast, or you didn't think about it. And so you have to be very intentional about climbing the ladder to success. Dreams written down are halfway reached. Goals properly set is your destination. So it's one thing to have dreams, okay? Dreams, if you write them down, hey, I'm really glad that you write your dreams down. But if you don't have goals to help you reach that dream, it's not going to get you anywhere. So you have to have goals that are properly set. And ironically enough, I teach the Zig Ziglar 7-step goal setting process. That's another show altogether. But write your dreams down. Tell your dreams to people, but then set the goals properly to help you get there. That's the main thing. Here's another version of that. A dream without a goal is like a bike without a rider. Okay, a bike will not go anywhere unless there's a rider. Your dream will not go anywhere unless there is a goal, and a properly set goal. So you have to have goals. And I'm amazed at how many people don't even have dreams. So you have to have a dream, and then you set the goals to get it. Leaders create something that others want to follow. My friend Luke Kipfer says this: are you a leader worth following? If someone drops what they're doing, turns and follows you, are they going to go to a place where they will respect you or where they will not respect you? Are you a leader worth following? That's the question that you should ask yourself. Gold is very valuable, okay? But it was mankind that discovered and valued it, therefore making mankind the most valuable. So we want to place our value on stuff. We say gold, man, if I can just get gold, if I can just have wealth, if I can have that. But listen, who was it that placed value on gold? Mankind discovered it and attributed value to gold because of how it looks, but it's really just a rock. But mankind gave it value. Gave it value. That makes mankind more valuable than gold. Let's invest in people. That's the message of this whole thing. Let's invest in people. Now, one of my favorite quotes is not my own, but it's Mr. Zig Ziglar's, and this is my favorite quote. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. It's one of my favorite ones from Zig. So that's I'm going to throw that in. This is not mine. This is Zig Ziglar's. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So many people, they don't go towards their dreams because they don't ever start. Okay. And there's a reason why they don't start, is because they don't feel like they can accomplish anything. But here's the thing, just start taking a step. And once you take a step, you're going to see where you need to take the next step. Okay. Some people plan their lives to death. And other people, they have no plan. It's not a right or wrong thing. But if you're struggling, if you want to do something, you have to start. If you want to be great, you have to start. Every action you take, every seed that you plant, every word you say will change the world. So my question is, how will you change the world? Did you know that you are a world changer? You can change the world, your influence, the people around you. You can change your world. Every action you take, every seed you plant, every word you say will change the world. How will you change the world? Your achievements in life are directly linked to how well you leverage your abilities and ambition. Okay? Your achievements in life are directly linked to how well you leverage your abilities and ambition. So some people have a lot of abilities, but they have no ambition. Okay, so if you want achievements, you have to combine and leverage your abilities and your ambition. Your talents and your desire produce achievements. Now, y'all know I love airplanes. And an airplane will change your life, but to be a life changer in someone's life is a life changer for you. One of the greatest things that you can do is to help change somebody else's life. That's one of the greatest things. It's one of the greatest feelings you can have, is to know that you made a positive impact on other people. That's to be significant. And there's a quote coming up here that I'll point out, but to be significant in other people's eyes means that you've made a difference in their lives. Okay, that's another one of my quotes. I don't think it's in here, but to be significant in other people's lives, you have to make a difference in other people's lives. You can't improve yourself tomorrow if you fail to improve yourself today. So what inspired this quote was me coming to the realization that, you know what, every single day, if I make one small improvement in my life, tomorrow I will be better. And it's a compounding thing. So you can't improve yourself tomorrow if you fail to improve yourself today. So it's a constant desire. It's a constant wanting something better. And you have that choice. You have the choice to have something better. Here's the different quote with just a little different wording. It's the same quote that with the bike, but a dream without goals is like an airplane without wings. You can have an airplane. You can have the fuselage. You can have the engine. You can have the instrument panels. You can even have wheels. But if you don't have wings on an airplane, it won't fly. Same way with dreams without goals. If you have a dream but you don't have goals, it's not going to go anywhere. Ideas are to success what electricity is to light bulbs. Okay? A light bulb is an amazing invention. In fact, last night we were out not downtown, but over by the UTC Mall, and we saw all the Christmas lights dancing in harmony to the music and everything. And I just said to myself, if I had $1 for every light bulb, I'd be a rich man. But a light bulb is useless without electricity. So ideas are to success what electricity is to light bulb. So you have to have, in order to have success, you have to have some ideas and actions. And that's the second part of the quote, but you have to take action. You can have electricity and you can have light bulbs, but you got to flip the switch. You have to apply things. You have an idea, you want success, you have an idea, but you got to go do something. So that's what that quote means. While you're dreaming of a great life, don't forget to live in the blessings of today. And this is something that we all need to be reminded of, that you know what, we are a blessed nation. We are a country where we are profoundly blessed. Okay, yeah, things are crazy right now, but we're profoundly blessed to live in this country. While you're dreaming of a great life, while you're dreaming of something better, don't forget about the blessings that you have today. Don't forget to count your blessings. Be grateful. Be grateful. Listen, I think every teenager should go to Haiti or Honduras or some kind of third world country before they're 21. That's one of the best get rich quick schemes ever, is for somebody to go to a third world country. You come back and you're instantly rich. And it's because we don't understand how blessed we are to live in this great country, to have what we have. Listen, I could venture to say that in almost every house that is watching this show right now, that in almost every house, there's probably 2 or 3 computers. There's probably 2 or 3 Bibles or more. We are so blessed. Let's not forget that. The next one is, say you can and you will, say you can't and you won't. It's all about your mindset. So it's not just that simple, but I'm going to tell you, if you say you can't do something, the chances are you probably won't. This is how I felt a lot in school. This is me in school. I had that frustrated look. I didn't do well in school, but sometimes we want the problem solved, but we don't want to solve the problem. I find that when I'm coaching businesses, I find that so often that's the mindset of people. We want the problem solved, but we don't want to have to do what it requires to solve the problem. And so if you want a problem solved, you have to be that solution. You have to be willing to change, and you have to be willing to go through the hard stuff. The level you rise to in life is determined by the level of your determination. Never give up. Be flexible on how you do it, but don't be flexible on why you do it. Be determined. Keep going. Never give up. Here's one of my, this is the one I was talking about earlier. To be famous is when a lot of different people know you. To be significant is when you make a difference in a lot of people you know. Which would you rather be, famous or significant? Significance is the highest level of achievement. When you make a difference in other people's lives, that is one of the highest levels of achievement that you can make. And don't try to do great big things at the beginning. Begin by doing small things great. Just be excellent at everything that you do. In the small things, do small things great. And as you grow, you're going to have more and more trusted to you, and you're going to start doing great things. But if you don't do small things great, don't expect to do great big things. This is not really a quote. I was speaking in Tampa at a business TBBO, and somebody made this for me, actually. And this is the question that I asked. I said, what would happen if you treated your people like they were world famous? And so your people could be your family. What would happen if you treated your family like they were world famous? What would happen if you treated your husband, your wife, your pastor, your employees, your friends? What would happen if you started treating your vendors, your clients, all of those people like they were world famous? What would happen? Think about it. So this is something that I've learned that has really, really helped me reach some of my dreams. Okay, but it's also kind of gotten me in trouble. So I'm going to kind of share this a little bit on both sides. The quote is, obligate your dreams to the positive people around you, and there's a good chance they will come true. What I mean by obligating your dreams is tell the positive people around you, people that you can trust, people that will hold you accountable. Tell them what your dreams are. And there's a good chance that they will come true if you have that support system around you. So, yeah, this quote here, you got to be careful who you share your dreams with. You got to be careful who you talk with. That's why I put in there positive people around you. And I've reached a lot of goals because I told people that this is one of my goals and this is what I want to do. This picture, I saw this picture and I was like, the moment you realize it would have been better just to be yourself. Okay. I don't know. It's just kind of funny to me that people would dress up as a zebra and go out into the where lions are, the jungle and the safari, I guess. And yeah. Anyway, that's kind of funny. It's something I've always said to people: shoot for the galaxy, you might hit a star. So instead of aiming for a star, and then missing, shoot for the galaxy, shoot bigger, try something more. And so I want to throw that out there to you as well. So in 2021, don't shoot for little things, shoot for big things, because you know what? If you miss, you'll probably hit a star. But if you aim for a star and miss, you hit nothing. Management is the art of getting other people to do things right. Leadership is the art of getting yourself to do the right things. So it can also be said, management is the art of getting yourself and other people to do the right thing. Leadership is the art of getting yourself and other people to do the right things. You can also lead yourself and you can also lead others. This comes from a true happening with my wife. Knowledge is knowing the dress does not look good on her. Wisdom is keeping your mouth shut about it. I made that mistake. So that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom, is knowing how to apply. Wisdom is knowing how to apply knowledge. Knowledge is just something you know, but wisdom is knowing how and when to apply that. And I made that mistake. I'm sure most husbands have. Doing for others what they should do for themselves may be the kindest way to destroy their self-worth. Listen, I know that we're supposed to help people. I know that we're supposed to be charitable. But one of the greatest things that ever happened to me is one time I went to someone that I really admired and asked for some financial help. And they said, let me think about it. And this was when I was first getting started. And they said, let me think about it. And they came back to me and they said, this is what he said, I'm going to help you, but I'm not going to give you money. And I said, okay, so how are you going to help me? And he said, I just did. He said, he wants me to learn to struggle, to learn to fight, to learn how to, he said, I could give you money. And this guy had plenty of money. I could give you money, but would you have self-worth? If I want you, and this person saw something in me, and I thank God every day that person did this, and that's what inspired this quote: doing for others what they should do for themselves may be the kindest way to destroy their self-worth. So you should only help other people when they're not able to help themselves. See, I was looking for the easy way to success. He wanted me to climb the ladder to success instead of saying, here's an elevator. Okay? So, doing for others what they should do for themselves may be the kindest way to destroy their self-worth. Think about that. That's powerful. Today is different. It's the only day that's guaranteed. What are you doing that will guarantee a difference? Do you want to be a difference maker? Then you have to do things that make a difference. This is a very recent one, just in the last week. If your mission doesn't energize you, you have no mission. Somebody asked me one time, how do you get how many cups of coffee do you drink to keep motivated and keep moving? And I said, it has nothing to do with coffee. It has everything to do with my mission. And my mission is to help business owners find freedom so that they can spend more time with their family and friends. That energizes me. That gets me up in the morning. That keeps me going. And so I came up with this quote: if your mission doesn't energize you, you have no mission. Several years ago, during rainy season here in Florida, bunch of tadpoles were out in our ditch, and they finally made it into little frogs, and they were all over the place, all over our house, all over the fence. And so I was able to take a little picture of this guy, and I had to think about it. Just yesterday, this guy was something different. He was not perfect the way he is now. He couldn't jump, he couldn't grow, or he couldn't leap. He was a tadpole. And I was thinking about yesterday's struggles make us who we are today. And I want you to remember that quote, because there's another quote coming up that goes along with it. Yesterday's struggles make us who we are today. Several years ago, I was reflecting over Father's Day, and those of you know that I lost my dad August 2 years ago. And I was reflecting, this is while my dad was still living, and I came up with this quote: fathers are much more than just a person we know. They are the ones that take the time for us and allow us to call them dad. So this is for the fathers out there. Spend time with your family. Spend time, take the time, and don't be just a father to them. A father is more of a technical term. Be a dad. Spend time with them. Love them. Anything worth something takes discipline and hard work to achieve it. So I saw this picture of his old shed. I think I actually may have taken this picture. I can't remember if I took it or if some of my family took it, but I looked at it, and it's an old weathered barn. And it has taken some beatings, and it's worth something. It took discipline and hard work to get there. So there's a lesson there that if you want to have something worth something, it takes discipline and hard work to get there. So don't be scared of hard work. Don't be scared of putting the time in. Stop doing what you do and start being who you want to become. So Zig Ziglar used to teach this whole principle about be, do, have. And I think I just recently talked about this. I'm not sure if it was on Facebook Live or was it with one of my clients. Be, do, have. The world, the other side, not God, wants us to do, be, have. They want us to do something so that we become something. And so once we become something, then we can have what we're supposed to have. God says, be who you need to be so that you can only do what you need to do. Because we can't do what we're supposed to do if we are not who we are supposed to be. So it's be, do, have, not the other way around. Do, be, have. Be, do, have. So stop doing what you do and start being who you want to become. Persistence and discipline will help you accomplish more than you thought was possible. Never give up. This picture of this tractor, man, it had better days, but it's still going. It is still going. Persistence and discipline will help you accomplish more than you ever thought was possible. Never give up. It's best to be yourself, but it's better to be your best self. I've always loved the thought of personal development and becoming better at your craft, practicing excellence in pretty much everything you do. But it's best to be yourself, but it's better to be your best self. Okay, so that's it. Kind of says what Zig used to say: be persistent and consistent. Okay, if you're persistent, you'll get it. If you're consistent, you'll keep it. So keep working on becoming a better you. Business, and for some reason it kind of chopped off when I downloaded it here. So business success is not the only success in life. I need to be reminded of this over and over, so I created a quote. But business success is not the only success in life. There's spiritual success. There's relationship success. There's business is only just, when we say, oh, he's very successful, most of our minds go, he must have lots of money and a big business with lots of people working for him or she. Business success is not the only success in life. So I want to put it in perspective. A vision is an unrealistic picture that inspires realistic goals. Let me say that again. A vision is an unrealistic picture that inspires realistic goals. Here's another quote to go along with it. I didn't put it in here, but your vision should be 5 feet from crazy. Your vision should be 5 feet from crazy. A vision is an unrealistic picture that inspires realistic goals. So what is your vision? The Bible says where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision, the business perishes. Where there is no vision, the marriage perishes. Where there is no vision, the church will perish. Vision is something important. You increase your net worth when you add value to your network. It's all about value when it comes to business and relationships. So I created this picture from my good friend Elias, or not the picture, but the quote from my good friend Elias and Matthias Raber. They have a company called Leader Minded. Okay. To be leader minded is to have the mind of a leader. That means you engage, inspire, and develop other leaders. Here's another quote that I didn't put into the reel here, but your leadership is not complete until you pass the baton. Your leadership is not complete until you pass the baton. Average entrepreneurs invest time, energy, and money to develop their process. Exceptional entrepreneurs invest time, energy, and money to develop their people. Listen, your processes run your business, but who runs your processes? Okay, so Michael E. Gerber says, systems run your business, people run your systems. Average entrepreneurs invest time, energy, and money to develop their process. But if you want to be an exceptional entrepreneur, if you want to take it to the next level, you have to invest time, energy, and money to develop your people, because I'm going to tell you, systems are useless if you don't have the right people to run them. I don't concern myself with people who fail to add value to me. I'm concerned if I fail to add value to them. What would happen if every single one of us would take this approach? What would happen if we would take this approach in politics? What would happen if we would take this approach in church? What would happen if we took this approach in business? Here's the deal. We are so self-centered that we think people owe us something. They don't owe you anything. In fact, I think there's a quote coming up. Maybe I didn't put it in. I'm not sure. When you focus on God's abundance, you will have more of the abundance of God to focus on. Okay, so I could talk all day long on this. Now, listen, I am not a prosperity preacher at all. I think the whole thing about prosperity doctrine of if you're a Christian, you're going to be wealthy. But here's what I do know. God is not a God of lack. God is a God of abundance. And when you focus on the abundance of God, he is going to continue to reveal himself to you more and more and more. And you're going to have more abundance of God to focus on. Poverty is not of God. Poverty is not a God idea. That's the other side. The devil invented poverty. God does not do poverty. God is a God of abundance. And it doesn't mean that we as God's people will never go through a season of poverty. It doesn't mean that we'll never go through a season of lack. But I'm going to tell you, when you're going through a season of lack and poverty, your focus is probably not on the abundance of God. That's what I mean by that scripture. Relationships needs 2 things: communication and compromise. Learn to ask and learn to give. Marriage is give and take. Marriage is give and take. Every relationship is give and take. You need communication and compromise. Learn to ask and learn to give. Humility is the highest form of strength. Pride is the highest form of weakness. Well, just think about that. Humility, and my good friend Rome Madison, Rome, if you're watching, I'm going to give you credit here. He says, humility is the ability to get your ego to listen. And that takes strength. We want our ego to throw up the walls and say, I'm right, I'm right. Humility is the ability to get your ego to come down and to say, I want to learn from you. That takes strength. Pride, on the other hand, is the highest form of weakness. And I'm not talking about pride in a job well done or having personal pride of what you've accomplished, but I'm talking about the pride that keeps you from admitting that you're wrong, like the sin part of pride. Okay? That's what I'm talking about here. Humility is the highest form of strength. Humility is when you know something, but you're still willing to learn more about it. Humility is when you could teach all day long about something, but you go and take a class to learn more about it. That's what humility really is. Words are thoughts verbalized. When you speak, your mind is on exhibit. What kind of words come out of your mouth? Because that's what's in your mind. If you don't have a sales process, don't expect customers to have a buying process. Now, this is getting into sales training and more of a business thing. But here's the thing. If you're in sales, you better have a process. Because if you don't, your customers don't have a buying process. They're going to be floundering through it. So I could talk all day long on sales like that. A people-centered leader listens to the voices of the people they lead. And I wrote a book called The People-Centered Leader. People-centered leadership. And here's a quote. A people-centered leader listens to the voices of the people they lead. You can't be people-centered if you don't listen to the people that you lead. Don't be an entitled person. The world owes you nothing. This is one of my big pet peeves. This is what's wrong with our country. The generations, this generation, the one coming up, the one that, the last one, we're entitled. Listen, the world doesn't owe you anything. You were brought into the world. The world was not brought to you. So stop asking the world to give you something and you start giving the world things. You start giving society. You need to start, not you, all of you guys are cool, but society needs to understand that we cannot function as an entitled person. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. You were brought into this world to help make it a better place. The world is not brought to you so that you can become a better person. Let's get it right. Okay, I'm finished with that one. Your struggles, and this is the one I was talking about with the frogs, your struggles are not your identity. Some people need to hear that right now. Your struggles are not your identity. Some people think that what they struggle with identifies them. No. Don't allow that to be your identity. Your struggles are not your identity. Listen, that tadpole struggled to become a frog. But was he a frog or was he a tadpole? And he or she, whatever a tadpole was, did not allow that struggle to be who they are. It allowed them to become who they were supposed to become. Your struggles are there to strengthen you for who you're going to become. Your struggle is not your identity. Leaders that push get results with resistance. Leaders who inspire gets results with respect. That'll go a long ways. HELP stands for having empathy and love for people. You're the reason your dreams are as big as they are. You're also the reason they're not bigger. Did you ever stop and wonder what you would become if you believed that you could accomplish anything? You're the reason your dreams are as big as they are. You're also the reason they're not bigger. This is probably one of my favorite quotes that I wrote. Suppose all it takes for you to create something extraordinary is to believe that you are extraordinarily created for that very purpose. So, my question is, what are you creating? What were you created to create? Now, I love plants, and this is one of my plants. I just took this picture, and because it's a picture of what leadership really is. This is called a mother of thousands. Okay, every leaf has little plants growing on it, and they fall off and they take root. I mean, they'll grow on cement. These things are amazing. I have thousands of them on my property right now. But leaders develop other leaders. Okay, and even now, those little plants, you can see the little indentations of future leaders on those little plants that are on that big leaf. Leaders develop other leaders. That's so important. As a mentor, I will accept you for who you truly are, but I will always question who you say that you are. I want you to grow. I want you to discover your true potential. Are you who you say you are? Or are you who you say you can become? That's what I want you to think about. You are not finished growing. The outcome you experience is the result of the system you built. The outcome you experience is the result of the system you built. You don't like the result? Change the system. Here's and this kind of got cut off too when I downloaded it for some reason, but it's a picture of a tadpole. You gotta want success like a tadpole wants to jump. Grow, stretch, and change. You know, there's nothing more that a tadpole wants to do is to grow his little legs and start jumping. That's like a tadpole knows who he's going to become, and he doesn't stop until he gets there. And you've got to want success like a tadpole wants to jump. And they're trapped for a little bit, but you know what they're doing? They're building their muscles, they're developing themselves, they're constantly changing, they're growing, they're stretching, and they're changing while they're in the water as a tadpole, because they know that one day all of that struggle, all of that stretch, all of that growing will help them become who they're supposed to be. Do you know who you're supposed to be? Do you know what you're supposed to become? Are you willing to grow, stretch, and change? Don't be the center of attention. Make others the center of attention. Don't be the center of attention. Listen, be interested, not interesting. Discover your value, realize your potential, and accomplish your purpose. We're just about finished here. In business, it's not about what you do. It's about what it does for the people you do. So business owners are in love with what they do. Business owners are in love with what they produce. They need to be in love with what the result of, like, what is the benefit of what they do. Life is full of liabilities and possibilities. If you focus on the liabilities, you will never see the possibilities. Okay, so let's talk about this. We all know life is full of liabilities and possibilities, positives and negatives, pros and cons. But if you focus on the liabilities, you focus on the negatives, if you focus on the cons, you'll never see the possibilities, the pros, and the possibilities. So what are you focusing on? What is your mindset? What do you think? And the last one, this is what I want you to take into 2021 as we wind down this crazy year. Be teachable, be confident, and be fearless. Be humble, be confident, be fearless. Those are what I'm going to be taking into 2021. And Let me see if I can get out of this mode and get back to, there you go. All right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I don't know how many people commented or saw it or whatever, but hopefully you enjoyed that. That's only about, I don't even know how many quotes that was, but I think I have close to 200 quotes. One of these days I'll put them all into a book and kind of write what my thought process was around it. But I just wanted to give you something that you can take into 2021. And let me just throw the original quote up there again. Think about what you would have done differently in 2020 if you had known everything you know now. That's what will work in 2021. All right. This was a long show. Thanks for hanging in with me. And share this. Please share this and get it out to as many people. I'm going to go ride my motorcycle, and we have dinner guests or dinner plans with some friends. And then we're going over to some other friends' house for New Year's Eve, and then we're going to go to bed, and we're going to act like life just keeps going, because it does. And I want you to make the best of 2021. Thank you. God bless you. Talk to you soon.